Here I am with the El Cheapo F550 in my hands. I'm calling it El Cheapo because I put some not very cheap but medium quality motors from DYS 800 kV 2217. They're calling it BE2217, new brushless motors for multi-rotors. They're actually extremely powerful if you don't respect their power. And I have put the 30 amp DYS ESCs running Simon K. Now what's so important is that you see a huge GPS. I don't know why it has to be this big, but this is XAircraft SuperX. I think it was V1, but it says on IO V2, and I just upgraded the firmware as well, and today we are testing the flight. The setting was just nothing. Like, you don't have to do anything except that connect the flight controller to your computer and tell the computer what is your multi-rotor, and just set the basic gains on, just leave them on default. So basically I just had to tell the flight controller setup I'm flying a hexacopter V configuration, and set the gains on my remote gain setup that is on one knob using the G channel. So connections were totally plug and play, super easy, and the configuration was super easy, I would say. As I said, you just had to tell what is your quadcopter type and set the gains. If you have an OSD from XAircraft, you can also set the OSD right there and the gimbal using the same flight controller configuration utility. Now the thing is, the only thing that confused me was the compass calibration, because it's just a little bit more complicated compared to DJI NASA. Now to do the compass calibration, you have to do the flight switch up and down just like NASA, but then you have to move the throttle stick and then do the flight mode switch up and down again. And when the LED turns green, you have to rotate twice instead of once in 360 degree on horizontal. Then you have to put the head up, the rotate again twice in 360 degree, and then put the side down and rotate once again. So the compass calibration is done and we are ready to fly. Let's see how it will fly. So that was the only thing that confused me, but rest of the things is just super easy. I just can't wait until the XAircraft releases the iPad or Android waypoint waypoint flight controller. What is that? Ground control station. All right, let's fly it and see how it behaves. Some people were complaining about the XAircraft GPS hold on, you know, the SuperX, but today is a good wind coming from that side. Let's take off in GPS position hold mode and see how it behaves. So I will leave it here. So remember, this is an El Cheapo setup, and the motors and ESCs are really not that high quality, they're medium quality. But despite of all the wind coming from that side, I think the GPS position hold is really nice and solid. It doesn't move from its position. What if I pull it away? Let me try it. So cold. Aggressive like DJI, that when you pull it uses a force to go back, and as soon as you leave it, it goes back there. But this one is a little mild on its control. It's a mild baby, it goes back to the same GPS position hold where it was. Now let's try the flight in GPS, attitude, and manual controls. Let me get away from here and stand here. Alright, so this is GPS position, and of course it won't allow you to get too much tilt, angles, and too much speed. Controls are very responsive, very good, and as soon as I leave the sticks, it will hold its position right there. All right, turning to attitude hold mode. Oh, we got more speed, more angle of flight, more angle of attack, I should say. There she is, come back. I still don't have much of that, just like NASA and attitude hold. There is a limit for the sticks, of course, on attitude hold mode. Now, before I go to the manual mode, I would say, previously with the XAircraft FC or P1212, I don't know what was the number, with that flight controller previously, flying in manual mode was impossible. Trust me, it was impossible. You couldn't fly it in manual mode. You have to be attitude or GPS mode. Let's see if we can fly on SuperX with manual mode or in manual mode. So here we go. Manual mode. Ooh. Whoa. Oh, actually, it's very controllable. It's very, very flyable.
What is that sound?
The 5 minutes timer beeping. So yes, this is in manual mode, and if I leave the sticks, it's holding there. So SuperX, I mean XAircraft in SuperX really have improved a lot of those flight features and flight characteristics. So this is the altitude hold, you can see. I'll try it even more lower. It's in GPS and altitude hold. Let's see, this is the lowest I can get, and it landed. All right, this is the lowest altitude hold that we can try, and with the GPS position hold. Let me set the throttle to middle. Right here, my radio is here, and there is the hexacopter. So the altitude hold is also very good. And above the ground, basically solid, I would say. Really solid and nice. Now, let's try the auto return to home. God bless me. This is the first time I'm trying auto return to home on XAircraft new SuperX. Hit the button. Ready? There we go. So I have set it up on fly back and tail in mode. You can also set it up fly back and nose in mode. Depends. And I have set up 20 meters height altitude for auto return to home. Now it's coming back tail in. Slow and nice. Let's see the XAircraft GPS deviation. I took off from here, I think. Took off from here. Perfectly, but you can see I actually took off from here and it landed here, like a few meters away, but which is not a big problem if you're flying on big open spaces like this one. This is also normal. It happens with the DJI flight controllers as well, that sometimes they land far from where they took off. So far I'm really very satisfied with the XAircraft SuperX performance. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is test it more for its flight performance, and then I'm gonna put it on my high-end aircraft like let's say a giant quad with, you know, Scorpion motors and stuff, and the other ESCs, the OFM custom ESCs that we use for our machines. So I'm gonna put it in a high-end aircraft with good motors and good ESC setup and see how this flight controller is gonna behave. So basically, XAircraft says you cannot compare it with DJI NASA. You have to compare SuperX with DJI WKM system. Well, XAircraft, we will compare it with WKM systems only after you release the autonomous flight capabilities using iPad and laptop computers. So far, it's really, really nice, I would say. Very stable, very solid control. Flight responses are very, very good. So I'm satisfied with it.